Hey guys, new video. Figured I'd make a guide for my EK Inquisitor that I managed to get rank 1 Inquisitor with in Heist League. This build is really good for speed clearing maps to level fast or farm a lot of currency. You can do bosses with it thanks to the new pinpoint support gem, which is what's inspired me to go EK this league. It really speeds up killing map bosses, but also lets you do bigger bosses like Conquerors and Cyrus without having to switch over to another spell like Blade Vortex, although you can do that as well if you prefer. But I think pinpoint support kinda brings back EK to a top tier spell because the clear is so good and always has been, but pinpoint really helps out a lot on the single target, which always has been kinda lackluster for EK. That said, I would definitely not classify this as a boss killer. It's definitely clear speed focused, and though I have killed Awakener 8 with it, it certainly wasn't easy, and if you're not experienced with the mechanics of the harder bosses like Uber Elder or Awakener 8, you might struggle a bit. Also, it's still not great for leveling throughout the acts, so I would recommend leveling this build with another spell like Arc, Blade Vortex or Crackling Lance, which is what I used. So start out with Freezing Pulse and Frost Bomb, and then pick up either one of those and switch over to EK in early maps, or maybe even Blood Aqueducts if you have some gear from before like a Tabula and Rim Sorrows, which is gonna help out a lot. But yeah, with that said, I think EK is in a really good spot for 3.12. It's a lot more well-rounded than it used to be. The clear speed is great, the bossing is decent, it's pretty defensive because you freeze everything, you can even perma-freeze some bosses in red maps, and it's also just a very satisfying build to play if you like shattering big packs of monsters and hearing the Impulsa explosions. Alright, so this is what the character looks like. I'm using the Ethereal Stars effect for my EK, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. And as you can see, the projectiles fire in a circle, and that's because of this threshold jewel, Ring of Blades. It gives 5 additional projectiles, and Ethereal Knives fires projectiles in a circle. So yeah, that's you need to have this, and you gotta put it over here in the tree because you need to have dexterity in the radius of this ring. And yeah, so the rest of the tree looks something like this. This is at level 100 at least, so you're probably going to be lower level, and you would remove maybe some of these, this probably, and yeah, maybe these. Yeah, I think the tree is pretty standard. We're not using any keystone passives. Just looking for life and some energy shield, some block, and a lot of spell damage, spell crit, crit multi. These ones are nice. And yeah, we got a Thread of Hope over here, medium Thread of Hope, to get these. These are really nice, saves us a lot of points to not have to travel here. These give a lot of damage. It also lets you take Sanctum of Thought, it's pretty nice. Makes you a little bit more tanky, and also gives you Arcane Capacitor, which is a nice quality of life, and makes your Arcane Surge just better. And yeah, I think that's about it for the regular tree. Let's look at the Ascendancy points. We got Sanctuary and Pious Path, firstly. These are the Consecrated Ground ones. This is just more damage taken to enemies, really nice, and Consecrated Ground while stationary. Regenerate 15 mana per second is also pretty nice, helps with the mana a lot. And Pious Path, cast speed, really good. Ailment immunity, of course, really nice, and 200 ES regeneration is really good. Just get some ES, and it's gonna help your survivability a lot, because this is just gonna keep it up all the time pretty much. And then we got these 2 crit nodes. I mean, this is like the big reason to go Inquisitor, because yeah, this one's just crit chance and crit multi, and then of course Inevitable Judgment gives you like full penetration. It's really great versus bosses, and yeah. I think that about covers it. So let's look a little bit at the gems first. For the main link, I'm using Fist to Lightning, Pierce, Crit Strikes, Spell Echo, Pinpoint, and EK, of course. I'm using Anomalous EK. It gives you 2 additional projectiles, and the regular one gives you projectile speed. Projectile speed is pretty nice. It's basically projectile speed basically makes the projectile just go longer as well, not just faster. So it lets you off screen a bit more. So projectile speed is definitely nice, but I went with Anomalous instead to get the more projectiles. It makes the damage feel a little bit more consistent, and you lose a lot of projectiles at full intensity with Pinpoint. So this makes up for that a little bit. And yeah, Fist Lightning, obviously we want 100% Fist to Elemental conversion, because yeah, elemental damage is just better for us. That's how we scale damage. So you gotta have 100% conversion. So Fist Lightning and Hurm Sorrows, that's 100% there. And you can find some other sources of conversion, but I think this is the easiest way. I'm using Pierce support. You can use faster projectile, or if you're on a 5 link, you can just this is what I'd remove, and I'd try to get Pierce somewhere else. Like you can anoint these piercing shots instead. That works just fine, and you can get the Shaper boots, Voidwalkers I think they're called, and that gives you some Pierce as well. I'm using Disciple of the Slaughter to get Frenzy charges, because Blood Rage doesn't really fit great, because that is going to remove all the ES pretty much. You can't outrake it. Yeah, so Fist of Lightning, Pierce, increased crit. This is just more damage, and it makes the damage more consistent. It's really nice. There might be something else that shows like it's gonna give more damage in Path of Building, but I think this is pretty good to have. Spell Echo just makes us cast a lot faster. Pinpoint, again, this is the reason why we went this build. It adds a bunch of projectiles when it's on low intensity, and then as you go higher it removes projectiles but adds a bunch of damage. It like doubles your damage pretty much when you're at full intensity. And then yeah, EK, I went over this, why I'm going with the anomalous ones. And yeah, let's look at some of the other things. Let's look at the auras. I'm using Herald of Ice. It's really good. It's just adds a bunch of cold damage, and the explosions, if you don't have Impulsa, like this, the explosions from just Herald can carry pretty much. But yeah, you could go for like Herald of Purity or Herald of Thunder as well if you want to. I'm using Hatred. More nearby allies there. You and nearby allies deal 19% more cold damage. Like, we are mostly cold damage thanks to Hrim Sorrows and Call of the Brotherhood. So that's nice, but also the other part gained 26% of fist damage as extra cold damage is also really nice. So this is gonna be the best aura for DPS. And we're also using Clarity to help with the mana reg, and Vitality. I'm mostly just using this to get my leech from this from the Watcher's Eye. That's the big reason why I'm using it. If you have a big budget, you could go with a crit Watcher's Eye, Hatred crit. That's really expensive, but a lot of damage. And then you could get leech from some other source as well. You could get it on like a Redeemer neck or something like that. Then I'm using Flame Dash, faster casting, Arcane Surge. Yeah, this is just to keep up fast Arcane Surge and to jump over gaps and things like that. It's a nice movement skill. I also got Sniper's Mark in here because we don't have any curse on our gloves or rings, so it's easy to just cast this, and it's gonna increase your boss damage by a lot. It's like 30% more damage, and it gives you some flask charges as well. Then I'm using Righteous Fire, Vol Righteous Fire. It's just a bunch of damage. You pop it on the boss, at the map boss or on a big boss, and it's just a lot more spell damage, 28% more spell damage. Portal Gem just because, yeah, we don't have a lot of socket pressure. Like, you could, if you find something else you want to put into the build, you can use that here. You could probably remove Enlighten as well and just try to get some lower levels on these. Then we got Tempest Shield and cast from damage taken. It's just a little bit more block, and yeah, it's pretty good. You could go for a level 20 on both of these and get Steel Skin in there as well, but I prefer to cast my Steel Skin manually. Just yeah, it's just a matter of preference. It's a little bit easier to keep it up, I guess, if you just have it on cast from damage taken, but you can, this is obviously you can choose when you pop it, so it's, you can predict the damage and pop it, and of course increase duration as well. And then we got Shield Charge with faster attacks and Fortify. This is how we move around. It scales with movement speed, so this is our main source of movement, and it also just keeps up Fortify, which is really nice. And yeah, I think that's about it for the links. So let's go over the gear. Impulse's Broken Heart. This is like, helps out with the clears like a lot and just damage, and it's just really great. This is like the most important piece for the build. If you don't have it, again, Herald Device can probably do a decent job, but you definitely want Impulses. And then yeah, Rim Sorrows for the conversion, and then also Call of the Brotherhood for even more conversion. But this converts the lightning damage to cold damage to make it easier to freeze things, and yeah, gives you 100% shock against frozen enemies. It's a really good ring. You could even use 2 of them, and you're gonna have an even easier time to perma-freeze bosses and things like that. And yeah, for the rest of the gear, you just want damage stuff, like a one like this. Cast speed, crit for spells, crit multi, coldest, extra chaos, spell damage, Fizz gems, Fizz gem levels are really good. On my neck I got dexterity skill gems, which is what EK is a dex gem, so yeah, other than that you just want life, maybe some ES is nice, and the resists of course. And I'm using Crown of the Inward Eye. It's really great. Just a bunch of life, mana, and ES. It gives a bunch of damage from this transfiguration stuff. And yeah, going with the EK enchant that gives projectile speed to make up for the anomalous ones, since we don't have the quality from the original game. And yeah, let's look at the flasks. We got Atziri's Promise. This is just great damage, and Chaos Resist is always nice. We're kind of double dipping from this because we're gaining from the fizz damage and the elemental damage. Diamond Flask, gotta have a Diamond Flask. I choose to put Curse here because well, we got all the ailments, ailment immunity from our Ascendancy, so we just need Curse and Bleed from our flasks. Yeah, and I think it's best to put on the Diamond Flask and Bleed on your Life Flask. And then we got an Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, which makes us go super fast, and Taste of Hate. This is just a nice damage boost, as well as a little bit of a defensive boost versus physical hits. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to message me in game or leave a comment, and yeah, thanks for watching.